Marine mammals such as cetaceans, sirenians, and pinnipeds transitioned to aquatic life between 20 to 50 million years ago, respectively, and Hydra.Luritis, or famously known as the sea otter, presents a relatively recent addition to the marine ecosystem. However, in certain aspects, the sea otter exhibits more profound aquatic adaptations than pinnipeds, which rely on land or ice for birthing. Sea otters belong to the weasel or Mystinidae family. They underwent a remarkable evolutionary journey about 5 million years ago, transitioning from land to sea. Also, records trace the Euhydra lineage isolation in the North Pacific to around 2 million years ago, marking their emergence of the now extinct Anhydra macrodonta and the modern sea otter Anhydra lyrtis. The evolutionary journey of the modern sea otter began in northern Hokkaido and Russia, subsequently expanding eastward to the Aleutian Islands, mainland Alaska, and down the North American coast. The significant evolutionary step was marked by development of unique physical adaptations such as high metabolisms that make them need to eat roughly 25% of their body weight every day to stay healthy. Heat generated by their metabolism is insulated by their dense fur coat, and sea otters must devote 8 to 12% of their time in grooming their fur to keep it in condition. In fact, they have the densest fur of any animal, which contains up to 1 million hairs per square inch. Their fur consists of 2 types of hairs interlocking under fur, which provides insulation, and longer guard hairs that help water run off the coat. This system traps a layer of hair next to their skin, so when the fur is wet and well groomed, their skin does not come in contact with the seawater. Sea otters are usually dark brown, and some individuals may be progressively lighter colored on their head, neck, chest, and forearms due to loss of pigmentation in the guard hairs. The extent of grizzle can be related to age and individual variation. This adaptation provides circular insulation in the cold ocean waters. Additionally, their webbed feet and powerful tails enable agile swimming, essential for their marine lifestyle. The evolution of sea otters highlights a unique adaptation process, setting them apart from most marine mammals who rely on blubber for warmth. Sea otters are one of the smallest marine mammals, with only their South American cousins, the marine otter, being smaller, with flexible skeleton, shortened forelimbs, and a lack of collarbone. Sea otters play a pivotal role as keystone species. Their diet primarily consists of benthic invertebrates like crabs, sea stars, clams, worms, abalone, and marine snails, and most important for the ecosystem, sea urchins, which are known to overgraze on kelp if their populations are not controlled, creating urchin barrens. By preying on these urchins, sea otters maintain the delicate balance in the kelp ecosystem. Kelp forests are not only biovores, marine habitats, but also crucial for carbon sequestration, making sea otters indirect contributors to combating climate change. Their influence extends beyond just controlling sea urchin populations. They also affect the distribution of other species, including fish and crabs, thus maintaining a diverse and balanced marine ecosystem. Sea otters primarily rely on their sense of touch to locate prey, using their sensitive forepaws and whiskers to prod crevices and seafloor for invertebrates. They may feed equally during the day and night. They sometimes store what they have found in loose skin folds at their armpits. Sea otters are adapted to belly-up lifestyle. They can be distinguished from their marine mammals by their tendency to float on their backs and will use their abdomen as a table and a platform for young pups when on the surface. They can also be identified by their unique combo of paws on their forelimbs and flipper-shaped hind feet. In California, adult females weigh 16 to 26 kilograms or 35 to 60 pounds, while males reach up to 40 kilograms or 90 pounds. Alaskan sea otters, in contrast, are bigger, with males weighing as much as 45 kilograms or 100 pounds. These sea otters are social animals, with females with pups coming together to rest in groups known as rafts, which are sometimes guarded by a territorial male who will attend to exclude other males, sometimes aggressively. Bachelor males, young males, males that haven't acquired territory, or territorial males on break, will often gather in all-male rafts where they rest and spar with one another in playing-like bouts that rarely result in injury. Males may mate with multiple females throughout the year. Females will often mate with a single male, especially if they form a pair bond. Pair bonds last for several days, during which the male and female stay in very close proximity. During mating, males grasp a female's nose and face with their teeth, sometimes drawing blood or leaving a persistent light-colored scar. This, in some parts of California, injuries to the nose incurred during mating can be severe and even life-threatening. Females give birth to one pup and usually have their first pup at the age of 3 or 4. The gestation period, on average, and includes a period of delay of the implantation of the embryo to allow the female to put on fat between the weaning of the prior pup and the birth of the next. Pups can be born any time of year. In California, there is a peak in pupping between January and March. When born, the pups weigh from 3 to 5 pounds. Females devote a considerable amount of their energy to pup rearing, while males provide no parental care. Mothers of young pups will often leave their pups in kelp surface canopies when they dive to search for food. Pups are dependent on their mothers for the first 6 to 8 months of their life. The dense natal coat of young pups traps so much air that the pup is unable to dive. When mother leaves the pups nested in kelp to dive for prey, pups bob on the surface of the ocean like a cork. Mothers spend much time grooming pups and often carry them on their chests. Pups begin to learn to swim around 4 weeks of age and lose their super buoyant natal coat around 8 to 10 weeks of age, at which point they are able to dive alongside their mother. At the end of the pup-dependent period, females may be expending twice as much energy producing milk, sharing prey, and caring for their pups as they would during periods without pups. This can result in serious, comprehensive health and body conditions of the female. At the time of pup weaning, particularly, where sea otters' densities and the food supply is limited during this time, female sea otters may be particularly vulnerable to changes in their prey abundance, aggressive males, and disease. Historically, sea otters have lived across the North Pacific Rim, ranging from Hokkaido, Japan, through the Kaluri Islands, the Kawachika Peninsula, and the Commander Islands, the Aleutian Islands, and South Coastal Alaska, as far south to Baja California, Mexico. In the early 17th century, a worldwide population was estimated to be between 150,000 to 300,000 individuals. Prior to large-scale commercial exploitation, indigenous people of the North Pacific hunted sea otters. Although it appeared that harvests periodically led to local reduction of sea otters, the species remained abundant through the range until the mid-17th century. Following the arrival of the Russian explorers in 1741, with the advent of the international fur trade, their pelts valued for their exceptional warmth and density, becoming a luxury item in Europe and Asia, lending to rampant hunting. The demand for was so high that the sea otter population plummeted, pushing them to the brink of extinction. By the early 20th century, it's estimated that less than 2,000 sea otters remained worldwide, confined to a fraction of their original range. The drastic decline not only threatened the species, but also disrupted the ecological balance of kelp marine ecosystems where they were once prevalent. The crucial state of sea otter populations at the beginning of the 20th century spurred international action. The 1911 International Fur Seal Treaty, involving multiple nations, was a historic move to protect these animals. The treaty significantly reduced hunting pressures, making the beginning of the sea otter conservation movement. The Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972, with a long mark legislation in the United States providing cohesive protection of the sea otters and other marine mammals. This act was pivotal in halting the decline of sea otter populations, making it illegal to hunt, harass, or kill marine mammals in U.S. waters. It laid a foundation for recovery efforts and was instrumental in the gradual increase of sea otter populations in North America. The efforts of the 20th century have led to significant rebound in the sea otter populations. From the brink of extinction, they have now reached an estimated 125,000 individuals globally. Large recovery is a testament to the effectiveness of international cooperation and targeted conservation efforts. Despite the major conservation success, sea otters still continue to face several threats, such as oil spills. If their fur is oiled, it loses its insulation qualities, and the sea otters soon chill. Otters are also affected by oil fumes or poisoned by eating food exposed to oil and attempting to groom an oil coat. Most sea otters quickly die in an oil spill. Several thousand sea otters died in the 1989 Exxon oil spill in Vandals, Alaska, have had catastrophic impacts on their population. Ongoing concerns include population loss, habitat loss, pollution, entanglement in fishing gear. Furthermore, climate change present new challenges affecting their prey availability and altering habitats, which could have far-reaching effects on sea otter population dynamics. The continued survival of sea otters hinges on the enhanced and sustained conservation efforts. These efforts include protecting their natural habitat, reducing pollution levels, and addressing the broader impacts of climate change. Ongoing research and conservation programs are crucial for understanding these challenges. The Sea Otter Foundation Trust supports a variety of these research and conservation programs. Additionally, educational outreach is vital in promoting the conservation of sea otters by increasing public awareness about the importance of sea otters and challenges they face. There is a greater likelihood garnering support for conservation measures. Responsible wildlife tourism can also play a significant role in this, offering a means to connect people with these fascinating animals and inspire conservation action.